Do 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 do. All right, let's get down to it here, guys. Weekly recap, DD and recap. Here we go. Book of the week this week was Trading Zone, or Trading in the Zone. Man, when they make these freaking challenges so tough for computers that you can't do them. Bum 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 bum. Hello, 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 everybody. What up? What up? It is that weekly DD time, guys. This is a crucial part for an FA trader to get in there and get back at how you did during the week, break down what's going well, what's not going well. Have to add the book to the book of the week. So we are adding Trading in the Zone this week by Mark Douglas. Yeah, it's that one right there. Trading in the Zone. All right. It definitely makes the list, guys. I highly recommend that. For those of you that are FA traders, you're trading psychology, that is a big one. Very much like it. Very much, very much. So yeah, book of the week, that's there. I'm going to go right through the process here, guys. I'm running on like an hour and a half of sleep, so I'm really on fumes. So recap, how'd we do last week? Let's check. This still has not updated. So AMCI, guys, is still counting as a zero, which is taking us down about 16 grandish. It would be at 1597, so instead of 800 shares, we'd have 1800 shares at 1597. So let me do 1,000 more shares at 1597 here, and yeah, so I could add about 16 grand onto this. So right now, guys, account value is about 17,000. That's down from last week, which makes sense because we did take a loss on GoPro earlier in the week. So not a huge surprise there that we are down on the week, but we are still way ahead of schedule. So recap. Good afternoon. Okay, this next section, what we like to do is go back and break down last week's calls. Last week's calls were AKTS, so let's see how AKTS would perform if we'd just taken that and held all week. AKTS, last 5 days. We would have an entry on Monday of 1579. Let's go days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get the info on this. Dabbing Tank, thank you for the follow. Welcome, 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 everybody. We are getting right into this. I am really low on energy. I still wanted to do this. I have to do this every week. That's part of what I'm doing. So we would have entered at 1593, would have closed the week at 1858. So that would have been a fantastic trade to just take and hold all week long. So this is 2 weeks running now. The trades, had I just stayed in the one trade or two trade that I outlined. MNKKQ, let's take a look at how that performed this week. Good day, RC. Good day, good day. MNKKQ, thank you so much for that cheer, man. Those bits go a long way. MNKKQ, let's go 5 days on the daily. So had we got in Monday, it would have been a open at 47, and we would have closed out the week at a low, but I probably would have exited here on their approval. So it would have been a 40 to a 70. Not bad. That would have been about a 40% gain. I cannot trade MNKKQ though. I did try to take that position. I was unable to, unfortunately. And then ACRX, watching for it, anything under 215 as potential entry. So let's see. ACRX did not drop below 215. Oh, it did here, 203. So Monday, had I got in when it dropped below, I'd be up 15%. So yeah, I'm not. Yeah, so guys, for those of you that are unaware, I do have PTSD that causes me to have really poor sleep habits. So it's really just a reality of I typically don't sleep well. Add into that, my baby was up most of last night, and my wife is away this weekend. And you have the perfect cocktail for a millennial being wasted, completely drained. So I don't know that we're going to go to 4 today. So. I wouldn't say so much so far this year, Triton. I've done very little in bio trading. I do keep an eye on it. So trades for last week, all three would have been winners. Now, of those three plays, how many of them did I actually take? None of them. None of them. I didn't take any of them. So I've got to make sure that if I'm doing that due diligence, maybe I want to actually benefit from it. Thoughts on SNDL? My thoughts are they have 5 more days to being compliant on the market. And Schumer and Biden are both starting to talk pot very seriously. And that whole sector is just going to go up. So SNDL, guys, has had a wild run over the last 3 months, from 59 cents to $1.13, but it's dipped as low as 26, gone as high as 136. I just get distracted and I don't go back to those plays. I just get distracted on what happens. So, yeah, opioid charges has been a reality for months now, so that's not surprising to me that that's coming across the radar there. But yeah, so guys, as far as this NDL goes, I am currently holding $30,000 worth of SNDL. I'm very, very confident those pot plays are going to play out very well. Okay. Got to stay hydrated here. SPACs to watch. We did get FTOC. CCIV is still doing its insanity. BTWN is still kind of floating. BTNB, same thing. AMCI did make its change over, so it's now A and B. ADN? A and D. I keep getting them backwards. ADN. So not only do I have my AMCI moving over, so these 1,000 shares are going to become ADN. I also purchased an additional 800 when it dipped down below 15. So I agree. I think CCIV is too pumped. And if they don't get that news, expect that thing to free fall. But AMCI did make the change over, guys. It is in the fuel cell industry. I did increase my position, so I actually have like 27 grand in SKT Peanut. Thank you so much for the follow, man. Much appreciated. Let me know how you found the stream, what it is you trade. Same thing, Tenacious. Would love to know how you found the stream, what you trade, buddy. Yeah, so AMCI, I'm sitting on about 27 grand in there. I'm not, no, I'm done with Sing. That was a meme, and I need to be serious about the plays I'm taking. I wouldn't put any real money in Sing, so I have to stop looking at it. The Ethereum, the crypto play. Okay. Yeah, so guys, AMCI Monday, I'm expecting to see a pop because as you can see, most people didn't actually get their shares changed over. I called the bank and was reassured that by Monday, those would be over. So we should see this publicly trading properly by then. It is up. It did close the day out at 1597, which is fantastic. Both of my entries are below that, so pretty happy about that. Is FTOC acting like you would have expected? It's looking for more of a pump on the Payoneer news. I think once it becomes Payoneer, you see the pump more so than that immediate one. CCIV, I don't see it hitting that 60 instantly easy clap. What I see are more and more SPACs. It's like a dozen of them out there now that are EV players. I am less sold on this EV hype train that everybody's on. I think that there's an oversaturation in that market, and I think that that news diminishes. Good old Twitch algo, taking care of me like that. PH2 car, thanks so much for the follow, man. Much appreciated. Let me know how you found the stream, what it is you trade. You got a 6 in your name, trust me. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to this. Weekly trades. Okay, so on the weekly trades, guys, let's open up the historical orders for the week. Last I want from this. This is December. Why is it giving me December? January, February. I want from the 1st to the 5th. Okay, so these are all the trades we took this week, guys. Just breaking down through it. I am on SNDL, yeah. Yeah, I mean the solar panels alone are not going to get us there for sure. GeoWest, I would have to be inclined to agree that there might be a play there. ACB, so I did take an ACB play. I did take AQB. This was a win. ADN, DGLY, did take some wins on that. Actually, DGLY might be one that I had to exit on a loss. Let's go back through the trading journal here. I did have a couple of days with losses this week. I know that. Okay. So February 1st took a loss this day on MRS. The news did not come through. They did not win their appeal, so I took a loss on that. LAC I took a loss on. I took 2 losses on Monday. This was a day of wins. This was a day of wins. This was a day of wins. And then this was a loss, GoPro. Okay, so the big losses this week, guys, were Monday on LAC, MRS, and then GoPro. So 3 losses on the week. I find this is really helpful, guys. I'm a fundamental trader, so for me being able to go back through my thought process on this, you'll see that my notes don't really get too heavy into the cash side of things. Like, oh well, you know, you got your pricing and your ins and your outs and all that. I don't really track that as much as my psychology, right? Like, what were you thinking getting into this play? What were you thinking getting out of the play? Is there some consistency and pattern on that? That's more important for me to track. So weekly trades, three losses. GoPro was a big one. And so GoPro, LAC, and I did not play VOR. No. GoPro, LAC, and MRS. Okay. Review of the rules. Trading rules, guys. This is a big part of building your trading methodology out. Why did you buy GoPro? I thought that they were going to crush in earnings. I was up 500 before earnings. Um, I was doing well on GoPro. I was up about $500 before earnings, and then that all disappeared following. So, trading rules I did add into earnings, not through. From now on, I will be exiting positions before earnings and reevaluating a potential entry afterwards if I think that the earnings were good. But up to earnings, not through, is going to be a new part of my rules. I was looking back over it. I have played earnings 5 times on 5 different stocks in 5 different markets, and I've only won once playing through earnings. So that's done. I could have taken a $500 win. Instead, I took a $2,000 loss. It's a $2,500 difference there. I'm not going to keep doing that, right? That's just silliness. So into earnings, not through, has made it to the rule list. Just reviewing all the rules, guys. These have been built out from actual trading, cash trading. This is not paper trading. These rules come into play as I see patterns or trends or best practices. I read a book a week on the market or psychology to craft and refine my trading methodology, trying to really define my edge. So all out at 10%. I did follow this rule this week on GoPro. I'm happy that I followed that rule. I have been ignoring it, and I did it, and I was right to do so because GoPro came down even further after my exit. So no FOMO. Monday was a bad one for that. LAC was a FOMO play. I got in because I saw the opportunity, and I should have just let the movement happen and not chased it. So that was craziness. I did do the trading journal, so that's good. My sizing targets are good. I'm not married to positions, so that's good. Trading fundamentals. Yep, I definitely did not trade technicals on charts. Am I still on Amara? No, I exited for a win. So I've heard this philosophy. I completely disagree with it. So this is the idea of being a jack of all trades and an expert in none. I am completely opposed to this because the idea behind this is just be generally good at everything, but never really dial in on what you're strong in. I do the opposite. I find the things that I'm really good at and I put all of my energy into those, and the things that I suck ass at, I go pay somebody who's really good at it to do it. It's not a miss necessarily because if you didn't understand this concept, I think it's an important read. I do. It's just not a good read for me. I think it is a good read, and ultimately, I think that this is a like a. I'd say this is not meant for people that are looking to be executives or leaders or directors, right? This is for people that want to have that 9 to 5 job. That's what that's for. The idea of just be a generalist and be generally good at a whole bunch of things because it opens doors to more opportunities, right? So I don't think that it's a bad suggestion, Triton, and I love you guys giving me really great suggestions. I do. So don't stop giving me suggestions. I love where this is at. It's an important concept to have in your head, but as a trader, I think that that is detrimental. So yeah. As a trader, I think you need to know what kind of trader you are, and I think you really do need to trim the fat of things that are divergent, right? Like, what would be the point of me dialing into something like a book on Fibonacci? It would be completely useless to me, right? But if you're a TA trader, if you're somebody that exclusively trades TA, maybe that's of value to you. to read something like that. So yeah, definitely keep throwing the suggestions out, guys, if you want there. By the way, guys, I do create a book list. A lot of people ask, how do I get into the market? I'm just getting started. Is there anything that I should do? My response is always read. I've created a book list. These are all books that I have read. These are not just recommendations off the top of my head. These are all books that I have read, okay? And in one way or another have influenced my trading methodology, so how I trade. The book for this week was Trading in the Zone. Sups up. All of these other ones are ones that I've read. Some of them are market books specifically. So, Adapted Markets, One Up on Wall Street, The Investment Guide, How I Made $2,000 in the Market. Those are stock books. Way of the Wolf is kind of a sales book, a little bit of a stock book. And then you see business books that are out there, books like Good to Great, Built to Last. Principles by Ray Dalio is here, guys. This is one of the few. So Way of the Wolf and Principles by Ray Dalio, these two here are here in order to teach you what not to do. Principles by Ray Dalio breaks down Ray Dalio's journey to blow up 3 different hedge funds until he was finally successful, which I would hope that none of you have to do. Shoe Dog is amazing. I love that you've read that. If you guys haven't read Shoe Dog, it's a story of how Nike came to be. It's a really, really cool read. But I want that there for you guys to understand how those things work. Good to Great is my least favorite of the two. Built to Last is probably my most favorite. But Good to Great, I think, is essential to understand how businesses go through that thought process of what they're looking to do is take this and make it into something that's a little bit better. Not perfect, but a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. Built to Last is really cool because it allows you to appreciate a long-term trading strategy, more like what Martini Rita does, where she's planning 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Built to Last is phenomenal for that. That's the one that has the idea that it's really just these minor little alterations to your business structure that are going to create these monumental returns, right? So we've all heard that 80-20 thing of like 80% of your effort goes into, or 80% of your time is spent doing the actions that create 20% of your revenue, and 20% of your time is spent doing the thing that creates 80% of your revenue. And getting those shifted so that it's almost the inverse is going to take you from good to great, is essentially what that gets down to. I do like the book, and I think it's an essential understanding because that's something that business does practice on. There's a lot of psychology books here, guys. Power of Habit, Starfish and Spiders about leadership, How to Win Friends, Influence People is a classic one. Whole New Mind, Practicing Mind, Extreme Ownership. This is a Jocko book. Absolutely loved it. But all of these books, guys, I used to come up with my trading methodology. So that's there for you guys. The reading list is there should you choose to use it. I have seen some stats. It is an influencer page, guys, so when you purchase from there, you are supporting the stream, so thank you for that. But yeah, I have seen you guys actually buying some of these books and reading them, and people getting back to me. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. If you pick one of these up and read it, let me know what you thought of it. Let me know how it applied to you. All right. Okay, that being said, let's get back to this. Don't mirror positions, trade fundamentals, trade reality, stick to your 2-month goals. Okay, so let's revisit the 2-month goals, guys. Essentially, I'd said by the end of February, the goal for the year is to go from 50,000 to 500,000. The stream set that challenge for me. Last year, we took $2,200 and turned it into 50,000. This year, we're going to try to take 50,000 and turn it into 500,000. Currently, we are a month and a week in, and we've been able to take 50K to 120K. So we're on the right track. The goal for February, the end of February, was to be able to hit 100,000, and we did that. So that's fantastic. This should actually be, so I should have March and April. So this should actually be January, February, 100,000. March, April. So this should be May. May. July. September. November. Okay. Okay. So Yeah, we've got until May 1st to hit that 200,000 level, and we're making decent headway to get there. So we are ahead of pace a little bit here, which is fantastic. It just gives me more and more time to work towards a bigger goal if we should break through 500K. I also have some buffer room, right? If by November 1st I'm planning on be there. Was any of that growth GME AMC? Yeah, AMC was a big play for last month. Made about 28K off of a GME play. So uh, AMC I played to the upside and took my gains when it was pretty much at the top. So that was a really solid play. But those opportunities present themselves over and over and over again, guys. You just got to keep your eyes peeled for them. But yeah, so far we are on track, sticking to the 2 month goals. We're ahead of the game, so that's looking good. Stop listening to professionals. I don't care what professionals think. I'm creating my own trading strategy. That's what that means. It's not that professionals don't provide insight, but what it is a breakdown of I need to make my own methodology. I'm not trading off somebody else. If I'm just using somebody else's trading strategy, that's their edge. I can never compete with that. I'm looking to create my own edge or discover my own edge, and this is how I've gone about doing that. So I recommend that you guys do the same thing. This is not financial advice, this is just good life advice. Come up with your own strategy, because if you're just doing what somebody else is telling you to do as far as trade this or don't trade that, you're trading off of their edge and you're immediately at your own detriment. Okay. Rise early, work hard, take profit. I start at 4:30 every day. I've been consistent with that all week. It went really well. Consider spin-offs. That's something to do as far as stock plays when they do that. Equity, equity, equity. Yep, I am very unconcerned with options in any way, shape, or form. Clear from the board when you take a win. I did a great job with that this week. This needs to be just cleared from the board when you exit, not take a win, because I find a loss is having that same effect. Even more so, I would say a loss is having that effect. Uh, take your time when placing an order. I broke that rule this week, guys. I didn't do a great job with that. I had 2 orders that I took this week that I was in a hurry to take, and they were in the Canadian margin when they should have been in the US one. So I did break that rule this week. I was rushing to get into the play. So I really have to do a better job of that, of taking the time and making sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Into earnings not through is a new rule for the week, but that's it. We've reviewed the trading rules. Let's get down to key events from this past week. We had WPRT and Amazon news. We had SEC and DFV. We had yeah, Kuza. One of the immediate responses that I give to people, what do you think about the stock? Is what do you think about this stock? Like it does it really matter what I think about it? Not really. I can give you guys my opinion on what I see in the stock. And what's really interesting is there's some people that bring those tickers. I'm not holding karaoke, no. Jeep Stops, thanks for the follow, man, fanboys. Be Quiet and Drive. 21 Saggage, thank you so much for the follow, guys. Much appreciated. What's interesting is a lot of people bring you tickers, and then when you're like, well, no, I actually wouldn't play this. I don't like it. They get a little uppity about it. Like, oh, what do you mean you don't like my play that I brought? It's my play and I really like it. Great. So you take it. Like I just wouldn't play it. I think it's a really bad idea to take plays off of some schmuck on the internet, and that includes me. If you're getting your signal service from myself or David Day Trader or Jim Kramer or a Reddit page or wherever, I think that's really fucking dangerous. If you guys are subs, you should have got an email from Twitch with the link to the published journal. If you didn't get that, DM me on the Discord and I will shoot you the link when I have time, okay? Do you have any fundamentals on IPOs? No, I typically don't look at IPOs because most of the money to be made on IPOs is entry pre-IPO. SPACs is a little bit different. SPACs is like the retail investors IPO, and I do play a fairly significant number of SPACs, but I don't typically play IPOs. I don't do that. Amazon is going to be converting a lot of their delivery trucks to natural gas. Okay, so one of the big tools that I like to use weekly, guys, that has been quite helpful, seekingalpha.com. If it if it regains listing compliance, it means that it's not going to be sent down to the depths of the OTC. So it's going to stay on the market, which means it becomes a lot more attractive to larger funds. Jim Kramer. So Jim Kramer is a man who's been in the business for decades. He's still profitable as a trader. He's got a nonprofit that he trades under for charity. I personally don't like how the guy plays, but that's there's lots of strategies out there I don't like. Right, like David Day Trader picks his tickers out of a Scrabble bag. I hate that shit. Um, Jim Kramer and CNBC. It's whatever the latest press release is. They seem to be hot on whoever's got the most money for press releases. Like that. That's just not how I play. Uh, oh, it's a TSG joke. Okay. Um, yeah. This tool here, guys, the Seeking Alpha Catalyst Watch. This is where I start my weekly DD all the time. And then from this, I will expand outwards. So that's there for you guys to follow along if you want. But this is an article that they put out uh, every week on Seeking Alpha. That's just a nice, quick overview of some big events happening throughout the week. So I typically go through this, break down day by day. Have you looked at Penn earnings since Penn did good? I thought MGM could go well too, but I already ran 5%, so it feels that I already missed it. Gambling's going to be big into Super Bowl here. People are bored with nothing to do. I think that's going to be huge. Thank you, guys. I wish I could have been there, but family always comes first. My daughter burnt her hand, probably a second-degree burn. So, um, and I mean, who knows, right, Kuza? Those both could have been good strategies. Who knows? But you definitely have to play it your own way, and I appreciate that you did your own due diligence on that. Yeah, family always comes first, guys. If I have to piece out of here for family, I do it in a heartbeat. Yeah, she'll be okay. She'll be okay. My kids are all pretty tough. Okay, Monday. Volatility watch. High volatility implied by options. This one I don't really like to watch. It's no surprise the names that are on here though: ITP, CLSN, Atos, Tilray, CCIV, with Lucid Motors as a potential SPAC. What we're seeing here is a lot of hype, right? I don't subscribe to them. No, this is all free. Um, Currencies are in focus with futures contracts expirations. I don't trade any currency, so that's not of interest to me. Analyst quiet period expires on 5 stocks sitting at some significant post IPO gains. Analysts are free to post ratings on Poshmark, Wolf, Affirm, Motorsports, and QLI. This might be something that I want to look at. What's it cost? 32. And I don't want to look at this. Um, Humana holds an investor meeting with participation from Credit Suisse. I don't really care about that. Health Equity Management plans to host a conference call for investors. Don't care about that. Tuesday, Kia has an investor day. Apple is talking about their Kia pairing. Hyundai. Uh, so I do have first aid certification. Honey is not good for burns. That is an old wives' tale. The best thing you can do with a burn is running cool water, not cold, cool water. Let it finish stinging, and don't put shit on it. Not butter, not honey, not creams, not lotions, not nothing. You gotta let it scab, get that kind of scabby, dry feel first, and then you can start to treat it. But honey can infect a burn really badly. Aloe vera can be used after it's done and it has that kind of scab and it's healing. Then you can put aloe vera on that to try to keep the skin moisturized so it doesn't crack and bleed. But yeah, if you put honey or butter or anything on there, there's a good chance that you can infect that burn, and then you get this really nasty green looking kind of burn that's growing on your hand. Honey has a very high bacteria count. It's a great way to get infected. That used to be what they told you to do, though, for sure. Back in the 50s, 60s, they would tell you that honey or butter is good to put on there. Family first, gonna subscribe when I figure it out. Doing some research right now. Whoop, whoop. Nice tiny room. Yeah, feel free to shout it out, guys. Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod is doing us back. I did see that. Yeah, um, yeah, so I made sure my wife and I both have CPR training. We had a daughter pass away from SIDS. I had to give mouth to mouth resuscitation. I've also used my first aid training to save my wife's life. When she was hemorrhaging out, I was able to provide CPR while driving 140 kilometers an hour in a blizzard. So I highly recommend that if you have a significant other or children, that you take your CPR course, that you take your first aid. Okay, Tuesday. IPO share lockup ends on NetStreet. So all that means is people that are in it can sell it. Willis Towers holds its earning conference. I don't really care about that. Senior leaders from Ford will discuss the 2020 operating environment. You're going to hear a lot of talk about EV there for sure. Virtual investor event, don't care. ARK Invest holds another monthly webinar. Kathy Wood's talking DraftKings and Picard. This could be good for you ARK players. So let's put this down. Tuesday ARK. Weird. This is a licorice company out of China. I'm not interested in that. Motorsports games, video games, esports, and content for racing fans. NASCAR is big money. They've already really 29 to year to date, 5 year. Yeah, I think the milk is milked on that. Monday, there's not a whole lot of anything. I'm putting ARK in there for all of the ARK funds. There's a bunch of different ARK funds, so all of them. What's up, Roach? Yeah, I mean that's a problem that I know quite well. Is that idea of not having enough capital to put in. I think that's an ongoing problem. Okay, so CureVac, lockup ends. Under Armour. I do like Under Armour. Philip Morris. There's not a lot I'm seeing that's really popping. I may need to go to the bio calendar and see if there's a bio play this week because I'm not really seeing anything. ArcX is another ARC fund by Kathy Woods. Don't forget KOPN strength. Yeah. Video game sales are due out. GameStop is going to be affected by that probably. There's a lot of potential options plays, but not a ton of equity plays that I'm seeing right here. Oh, ACB. ACB earnings Thursday. That should be good for SNDL as well. Yeah, BTC is up over 40K. I saw that. Have I seen hemp? No, I haven't. 2 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Zynga with ATVI, yeah, maybe. This is gonna be big for SNDL though, guys. I think so. Potential plays for the week. I'm not seeing any yet. Friday, do we have other catalysts? Friday, Chinese New Year begins. LVS and win. Axel earnings pre-market Friday. I think Flowers are going to do quite well. Yeah, I would have bought Monday and I would have exited Tuesday or Wednesday. Um, how to go from billionaire to multi-billionaire. I've never worked with that level of money. I would have no idea how to do that. Do I invest in minerals like graphite? Not really. I have done a small play into lithium with LAC, but by and large, I do try to avoid mining. It's just too hit and miss for me as an industry. You're not playing people so much with mining. You're playing output of crap in the ground. So for me, I'm not huge in the mining game. Um, Hindenburg definitely has a short position in Clove. But there's a few issues with their CLLV stuff. I didn't really want to dive into it because those who did their due diligence on Clove weren't really surprised by what they put out there. The DOJ is not doing an investigation on them. They sent an inquiry on a couple of different things, but um, the management for some of the junior minors is key. Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about with the psychology side of things, right? Like I'm not talking about the mindset of the management. I'm talking more about hype in an industry, right? Like nobody's getting hyped on one mine over another with graphite. Best regards from Germany. Very cool. Neo, I still guys have not wrapped my head around getting into Chinese companies. I know I said that I would be open to that this year, but I've yet to see a Chinese company that impresses enough that I would do that. So I'm still staying away from it. I think that there is. Um, what's up, Ralph? Ralph. LC and Tree has been mooning with delays. ED. Take what you did to make a billion and do it again. If only it was that easy. BTNB, yeah, BTNB, BTWN guys, both of those are just a hold. Uh, I don't think that there has been any news on either of them. Yeah, down 4%, up 0.5% after hours. Kind of. It could be Tokopedia, it could be something else. I do like them long. I unfortunately am working on more of a timeline that requires me to take plays that move a little bit faster. Um, yeah, I mean, it looks like a relatively slow week. So let's head over to earnings whispers here and see what we have for the upcoming week. Chegg, take two. CGC, CGC on Tuesday. Is Cody this week? Yeah. Do you like BP with a Palantir deal? I used to work there in '09, was an intern, and they were trying to call themselves Beyond Petroleum. Uh Again, oil is something that I'm not necessarily interested in. Potential plays for the week would be hold SNDL, look at AR. So why I'm saying look at AR, guys, is the news about Amazon and Westport that came out. Um, orders hundreds of trucks that run on natural gas. If big companies like Amazon are going to be moving their fleet over to natural gas, I think that we'd see an appreciation in value on the commodity. Um, I think that natural gas is going to do quite well on this, and my play on that I found was AR. There's lots of other plays that you can do for sure. There's Cabot, Cog. There's some bigger players out there, but for me, I think the one that I'm most interested in is AR. Um, and Terra Resources. They're up 1%, 5%. They've had a nice little rise here through December from 4 to 8. They're still not really recovered though from 2019, so I think there's a huge opportunity there. In my opinion, guys, SNDL for the week. Um, with SNDL or with CGC on Tuesday and ACB on Thursday, I think the pot sector is going to be a lot of chatter around that this week. So I think so for sure. 6+ months on airlines. I think airlines are a year and a half out, and I don't know that they'll ever recover to the way that they were because a large part of domestic flights is business, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think a lot of the business flights are going to go back to the way that they were. I think a lot of people are just going to work remotely, and that companies have identified that those flights being shut down is actually a huge cost saver for them. That you're able to do a Skype call or a Zoom call instead of flying people all over the world. Yeah, they will pump when news of stimulus drops for sure. But as far as them recovering on the books, I'm not super confident in that. Even with vacations, because most international travel is going to be locked down. So you're still looking domestic. I think you see a lot more things like Winnebago's. Um, yeah, a lot more things like Winnebago's. Palantir's earnings are 216. So that's not next week then. That's the following week. Yeah, I would say a year and a half from now is when you start to see a recovery, and then 2 to 3 years out, they'll be working their way back. Shares of Lockheed Martin closed Thursday. Blah blah blah. Using the company's guidance of the year, the stock is forward pricing. I don't like Lockheed, but I trade on equity, so um, Lockheed would probably be more of an options play if I was to play it. Huge thank you, by the way, to all you guys that are following and subbing and all that amazing stuff. I'm just not on top of my game. I'm really, really like just zoned out trying to stay awake here. So I'm trying to do my best, but QLGN, I don't know what that is. Collagen Therapeutics. Guys, whenever you're looking at a bio stock, the first thing that you do is find their website, go to the website. On their website, you will find something that says pipeline. Go to their pipeline. They currently have 4 designations in phase 1 and 2 designations in phase 2. They have nothing in phase 3. For me, I'd stay away from this as a biostock. Yeah, Disciple of One. I get what you're saying on that. I just don't. Market cap is not an indicator that I use. I find market cap is really unreliable right now with valuations just being so out of whack. Um, Not at all. Not at all. Okay, earnings. Let's see what else we got. So Tuesday, Enphase Energy. That might be a good one. ENPH. Played that one before. FISV is there. If it's in the ARCA ETF, it should do well. Somebody was mentioning the cancer breakthrough from Israel, which is amazing for all the people that are wrestling with that. Bitcoin Cash, I don't hold. No. Glue Mobile is one that I was looking at for gaming, but I'm not really in that sector right now. America, gross. Twitter. I think Twitter's not going to look so great, guys. I think Twitter's going to look pretty bad. Unless they lean into their MAUs again, I think it's going to be pretty bad for Twitter. AMD, that's potentially viable. CLSK, yeah, CLSK should do all right, especially given how Bitcoin's performing over the weekend. Qualcomm, no, I don't really trade it. Semiconductors is not an area that I've kind of played into, guys. The reality is I've just been growing the types of stock that I trade from last year, where I started with sub $5 stocks. Right now, I'm trading somewhere around the 15 to 20 range. Most of those semiconductor stocks are far outside that range. So, because I am focusing equity only, I'm not really in on or around that sector yet. General Motors, Paycom, Under Armour. When is this? Wednesday? Under Armour on Wednesday. I think Under Armour's going to do quite well. A year and a month now, so 13 months. Started with $2,200 last January. Wanted to see how far I could take it. Currently, the portfolio value is somewhere in the range of 117 to 120,000. What would I say is the biggest? It's hard for me to say because I am not because I haven't traded those high price stocks. I can't really speak to their price movement. What I find with the low float stocks is I've learned very quickly how news moves those, which is very, very interesting. Um, I think it'll be the same once I get up to those levels of stocks, as I'll understand what type of movement is expected. But I think there's a lot more fluctuation in price with these lower price stocks. So, um, yeah, the cojones meter is high for sure. Um, yeah, Zynga, Zillow. Okay, not seeing a ton there. Um, I mean, I'm not opposed to it just being a slower week for me. The last 2 weeks have really taken it out of me. I want to try to get my head on straight. Datadog, that'd be a big one. Expedia, I'm interested to see what that is. That's Thursday. Um, I think Disney earnings are actually going to be very interesting because it's going to be a little bit like watching Netflix, but at the same time, the travel industry and the beaten down theater industry. So it's pretty crazy. Does that earnings page update all the time? Yeah, as they get confirmations in. Earnings Whisper is a pretty standard page that people use. Um, yeah, growth and sustainability are two different things, right? So this is a growth portfolio. I'm looking for things that are going to move. You typically just don't see as much gains out of these high price stocks. We broke this down a little bit last time. I'll do it again here just so people can understand my thought process on it, right? Let's say that I have a $10,000 portfolio, or what's something reasonable? What's a reasonable starting? Um, I want to get into the market. How much money do I have, right? What? Resub, 7 months. Let's go. 2K. Okay, so let's say 2 grand. You got 2 grand to start in the market, okay? And you've got two tickers. You've got, well, we'll do the three tickers. So we'll say UA, we'll say SNDL, and we'll say, well, let's say Disney, okay, for argument's sake, okay? So we've got 2 grand. Now people would say, oh, if they go up 3% or 4%, that's great. But typically I'm aiming for 10% or more, okay? So we're looking for 10% or more. So we'll do price, 10% dollars. Okay. So current price of SNDL is, they closed 113. UA. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. You rock. Um, UA closed at 1774, and Disney 181. Okay. So what a lot of people say is, well, 10% is 10% is 10%. I would agree with you. So no matter what we do, guys, if we take this and we say, okay, well, it's, this times this times 1.10, right? What do you mean error? Piss off, error. I. What is error? I'm doing this wrong. Nah, I'm doing this wrong. Okay, it should be this divided by this times that. Okay. Okay, so guys, you'll see that if we start with $2,000, right? Let's say Monday you get in, SNDL's there, it goes up 10% on the week. SNDL, you'd make $1,900. You would make on UA, you'd make 124. On Disney, you'd make 12. And you're going, yeah, but they all went up 10%. So why is that? Well, obviously, you can just buy larger sizing on SNDL instead of Disney. With Disney, you're only getting like 10 shares, so you only make $12, right? Yeah, definitely develop goals. Um, Goals, honestly, in my opinion, guys, it shouldn't be about profit when you get started. It should be about creating your strategy. Find your edge, okay? Find your edge, find your edge, find your edge. No, you'd make 200 in all cases. No, you wouldn't. No. If I had $2,000 and I bought as many shares of SNDL as I could and it went up 10%, I would make this. I can only buy, if I've got $2,000, right, and I'm doing this divided by this, this is not a number. This is not dollars. This is just a number. Hold on. Okay, so we'll go over math here to make sure that this math is here. Okay, because it feels right what you guys are saying. Where if it's $2,000 that got in, they all go up 10%. It should be 200 each because the next one is the reasonable movement, right? So for this to go up 10%, right, it would have to go up $18, right? This is yeah. Delete column. So for this to go up 10%, it would be $18 it has to move. For this one to go up 10%, it would be $1.70. For this one to go up 10%, it would be 11 cents. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you guys are right on that initial one. 2,000 across the board. If they all do 10%, it's $200. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that. So you guys are right. Now, the next thing that you have to take into account though is what is a reasonable movement on shares, right? So, is it reasonable to see Disney run $18? Is that a reasonable expectation? So, let's look at the last 6 months and see if there are weeks where it moves $18 in a week. Okay? So, this week, no. This week, no. No, no. This week it moved down from 130 to 120. So still a no, still a no. Here's a gap up. So there was a gap up here from 128 to the 140 range, so close. Not this week, not this week, not this week. Here there's a gap up again from 150 to, well, I mean, what is this? 153 to 175. So yeah, there's one, right? But what we can see is weekly, guys, it's an oddity, right? It's an oddity. It's an oddity for it to move more than $10 in a week. So it's very unlikely that you're going to see this $18 move that you want, right? So now let's take a look at UA. What we're saying is that 10% move is, what was it? $1.70? $1.70, right? So do we see this moving more than $1 in a week? Like, no, not really, not really, not really. Here it's kind of up $1, down $1. Here it's up $1. Here it's up $1. Here it's up $1, up $1, up $1. There's no massive gaps here, so it doesn't really do that $1.70 in a week for me. You know what I mean? Now this one here did 15 to 1770 into earnings, so yeah, there's possibility there for it to do that move. But we're seeing here that, you know, there's only one instance on Disney. We saw that there was only really one instance of it doing that gap. So one out of the last 6 months, there's potentially one gap of what you were looking for, right? Now let's take a look at SNDL, 11 cents. Does it have price movements that hit that 11 cents, right? It has way more chance of it having that movement up or down of 11 cents. So this is why I trade these cheaper stocks, because the likelihood of that price movement is much higher on these stocks. Now, obviously, that means that there's a greater risk as well of it moving down, right? But look at these gaps. So from 60 to the high on this day was $1.36. 60 to $1.36. Like, that's crazy. So essentially what I'm trying to do is go, okay, well, if I've got $2,000 in there, what is the likely price of movement on this stock? So whenever I'm entering a play, and I think for the most part this is fairly common where people do that, of like, okay, well, not necessarily where's my exit, but what's my price target on this, right? I'm currently sitting with 28-ish grand, 28, 27 grand in SNDL. Why do I have so much in there? No, sorry, I've got 30 grand, $32,000 in SNDL. So 32 grand in SNDL. Why? Why would I have 32 grand in SNDL? Over, you know, just putting 30 grand in FTOC or BTWN or AMCI, because I've done a wealth of due diligence on that play. I am more confident of the price movement on that than I am with the other ones. In my opinion, what I always like to do, guys, is to show people that if you're going to trade dog shit, you've got to do your due diligence, right? So why am I able to trade these low cost stocks? Why am I able to trade these? I'm not going to affect the stock price on SNDL. No way. Their volume daily is like hundreds of millions. I'm not going to affect the stock price on SNDL. But what I'm doing is it's about proper DD, right? So I think that I have shown, not just with my words, but my actions, that if you're going to trade these dog shit stocks, I put in 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, right? Like, I woke up this morning, got to work, read books on the market, and started doing breakdowns on plays, and now I'm here with you guys doing this, right? Like, I put in a lot of time trading this stuff. Whereas if I'm trading bigger things like Disney, Coke, AT&T, like, how do you think they're going to perform? LMT, Boeing, how do you think they're going to do? Well, they're going to do what they always do. I mean, right? Like, it's not, oh, but they could have an outlier effect that blows them through the moon. Maybe, but like, everybody kind of gets Disney, right? They know what Disney is. There's no surprises there. So you'll see that, like, my portfolio right now, let's open that up and show you guys. I've got my largest holding, 30% of my portfolio in SNDL, right? But then I also have an even split between FTOC, BTWN, and ABN, which are, yeah, slower growth, a little bit less volatile. But I know the price movement on those, right? My expectation on a $14, $15 entry is that I see this go up 25%. I see it heading towards that $20 range. You know what I mean? So I've got 3 plays where I'm looking at a 25% gain, and I've got or more, and SNDL where honestly the sky's the limit. I don't know how high it could go, but if it gets compliance, right, which is why, guys, when I talk about these stocks versus, there's lots of other finance streams out there where people are talking about what they're doing on this one, because this name change. So I still have 15 grand, 16 grand in this. It just hasn't name changed over yet. So it's going to name change Monday. But really, guys, I put in the amount of work that needs to go in, whereas a lot of other people that trade OTCs, they don't. They're getting those as signal services from Twitter or StockTwits or wherever else, right? For me, I just put in a lot of work. SNDL could get bought out. It could ride the hype on earnings. Schumer could talk about legalization. It could go up. It could get compliance. There's just so many positive factors. And what's the downside? They do another offering. But it seems at this point like they do an offering and people don't even blink anymore. It just gets bought up right away, right? So, oh, these bottom ones down here, these are positions that I exited this week. Those will clear next week when my equity opens. But this is also throwing this off because this is saying Friday I was down $18,700 when in reality I wasn't. This just hasn't made its name change yet. What made me exit Lumen? I wanted to get deeper into SNDL. Why did it go down so much? Because pot, when Canada legalized it, went sky high, and then people realized that there wasn't that much money. Aren't they in debt, broke? Maybe that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not trading their financials. I'm trading the psychology around it. It's the cheapest pot stock out there. It's well known. It's a ticker that a lot of retail investors trade. And when pot gets talked about and people can't afford CGC or ACB, they pick up SNDL. I'm trading it on psychology. I'm trading it on the herd of people moving to it. That's the thought process on it. Now, how far could it go? Could it go $1.50? Could it go $2? Maybe. In which case, it's another $30,000 play, right? Um, excuse me. Okay. So I did mark Axle. This is not one that I've traded before, so I want to make sure I know what this is. I'm considering it. Driveline, metal forming products, subsidiaries, designs, engineers, driveline segment offers front and rear axles, drive shafts. So this is car production. I think that this is actually a really strong play. Axle has earnings coming up. I think this is a very strong play, actually. Axle. Given that so many new companies are going to be looking to build EVs, I think that they've got a lot of work ahead of them here. I really like this play, actually. Okay, the only other thing that I have to do before I get out of here today, guys, this is going to be a shorter stream. Typically, I go to 4, but I am literally on fumes. So today just ain't going to be happening. If you guys can't see, like, it looks like I got punched in the eye here. I'm not out of it. So this is the Biopharm Calendar. For those of you who've never seen it before, this breaks down when we can expect movement on different FDA approvals the week coming up. Regeneron's the only big name on this. SPPI, guys, still waiting until international travel opens back up. I don't see anything happening there. ATNX is coming up for their PDUFA. PDUFA is the ability to openly advertise and market. Fossil. I can take a look at Fossil in a sec here for sure. PDUFA, February 11th, Regeneron, 2nd, 15th, GTHX. Says hello, water boys. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Uh, Jericho, I'm not quite sure what that question means. Does Stocky shares with you the morning calls? Don't answer if you don't want. What do you mean? Like, does he share the plays? Does he share? Uh, yeah, Stocky does. Yeah, Stocky does pay those people that take the time on the morning call something. I'm not going to share what he pays, but yeah, we are paid to do that. Yeah, yeah, and that was something that Stocky chose to do from the get go. I was happy doing that without, but he felt right about doing that, given that I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, putting in the hours to make that happen. So, um, yeah. So Triton, the reason why I'm skipping over most of these is price, right? So price target 68, 60, 47. Like these are just outside my window. All right. Um, no, it's because I'm talking so much and I'm tired and coffee and water and all right, I'm good. Part of it is I'm exhausted, right, guys? That's it. Um, so yeah, we're gonna finish up here. The prices, guys, is what's making me skip over most of these. I'm looking for something in the price point that I would take, so sub $15. The next thing that I do is I look at, what is it in? Is this something that is massive? Is it only comic collectibles you keep? Yeah, for the most part. Um, I do have some swords kicking around, but by and large, it's comic book stuff. Yeah, no, he didn't kill me. I would then next look at, what is the treatment for? So hemodialysis patients with central venous catheters. This is less likely to be super profitable than something like metas man breast cancer. um, breast cancer is going to be a much bigger market, so that is something I look at. And then the stage is the next one. So that's why I'm sorting by stage, guys, because if it's not phase 3 or PDUFA, yeah, metastasize. Damn it. Yeah. So looking at these guys, skin graft, MNKQ. I want to stay in the PDUFA, so AQST. March 2nd, they've got a potential upcoming, so AQST could be a play upcoming. KMPH. ADHD is big money. There's a lot of people out there, right? These are the same designation. ATRS, I haven't looked at it. Excuse me. I'm not seeing anything massive for this week, guys. So it does look like it's just going to be a slower week for me, which is fine. I'm really feeling that. It's kind of my pace. CLVS would Clovis. Yeah, Clovis would be doing well. ATRS. Oh, I do know Antares. Yeah, I do know Antares Pharma. Fossil. Damn it. You did say Fossil. So approved and marketed. They do have multiple designations that are approved and marketed. So yeah, Antares is in a good place. Fossil. Okay, what is Fossils? $17, so it's at the high end of what I would be trading. I don't like it. I don't like it. Uh, it's a retail play. It's not super luxury. It's like high middle class stuff. I'm not a fan of Fossil. I'm not a fan of retail plays right now for the most part, unless they're in fitness, so something like Under Armour or Lululemon. Yeah, that is true. That is true, games. Unless it's something so massive that it changes the industry. So there are a couple of treatments that are coming out that are extremely costly genetic treatments that might potentially cure type 1 and type 2 diabetes, which is huge. Absolutely huge. All right, guys. On that note, I don't want to drag Heave on stream anymore. I think I'm at an end. I am going to tap out here. I think I've got a decent plan for the week. It's going to be a slow week. Going to be looking at SNDL with the pot. Going to be looking at AR with natural gas appreciating in value. That'll be a longer term hold. I do this every week, guys. I will be here from 1 till 4 most weeks. I am going to be back next week. I do opening of the market, so 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. every morning, Monday to Friday. So if you guys are kind of lurking around, you've never been here before, I will be back. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Take care. Thank you so much for watching, and let's see if we can't find another amazing Twitch stocks and bond streamer that's doing kind of what I'm doing right now. I mean, let's do this. I said long term 2 times now. 2 times I say it. All right, let's go raid this guy. Fantasy football stocks and news. You can continue that sweet DD. Take it easy, my dudes. Later.